They vanish, only to return. Not out of love, not out of growth, but out of hunger. And this return has a name. It's called hoovering, a silent vacuum, pulling you back into the orbit you fought to escape. This makes empath the perfect target. Why? Because an empath sees light in shadows and believes wounds can be healed. The narcissist knows this, and so when their supply runs low, when adoration fades from other faces, they turn back to the one who feels too deeply to close the door. But understand this, the Hoover is not an apology. It is not a promise of change. It is a mirror, a reflection of what the narcissist thinks they see in you, and what they fear in themselves. Sometimes it comes as sweetness, a sudden message, I miss you, a memory dropped like bait. Remember that trip we took? No one else understood me like you did. Other times it arrives as anger, accusations, guilt, blame, anything that keeps the tether alive, because to a narcissist, even negative attention is proof that you still orbit their sun. Hoovering does not always arrive as a storm. Sometimes it is a whisper, a sudden like on an old photo, a late-night message that says nothing, but feels loaded with everything. A mutual friend who delivers a casual update, planted to stir your heart. These are not accidents, they are hooks. Cast into the waters of your empathy, because the narcissist does not need a door to walk back in. They only need a crack, and the memory of who you once were to them. Here lies the mirror effect. The narcissist looks at the empath and sees fragments of themselves they cannot own. Your tenderness reminds them of the love they lost within. Your forgiveness exposes the emptiness of their pride. Your ability to connect highlights their inability to stay. And so, the Hoover is not just control, it is projection. They need you to hold the pieces of them they refuse to face. But every empath must ask, when you pick up the call, whose story are you stepping back into, yours or theirs? The danger of the Hoover trap is not the return itself. It is the illusion. The idea that maybe this time, it will be different. That the cycle of idealize, devalue, discard has finally ended. But cycles don't end with the same players on the stage. They end when one refuses to perform. For the empath, the true war is not with the narcissist. It is with the echo inside. The echo that says, maybe they mean it this time. The echo that clings to the good moments, forgetting the cost they carried. But wisdom whispers differently. It reminds you that consistency is the only proof of change. That love is not a cycle of harm and healing, but a ground where both can stand whole. When you silence the echo, the Hoover trap collapses. Empaths, hear this. Your heart is not a vacuum. It is not a vessel to be drained and filled at another's will. It is a fire. And a fire does not need an audience to burn. So when the narcissist circles back, when they dangle the bait of nostalgia or twist the blade of guilt, remember the truth. Love is not proven by how much pain you endure. Forgiveness does not mean return. And walking away is not weakness. It is wisdom. The mirror effect cuts both ways. Yes, they see themselves in you, but when you see them clearly, without the fog of illusion, you step out of the trap. The Hoover works only on those who still crave validation, but when you validate yourself, their pull loses power, and their vacuum meets the unshakable weight of your boundaries. You are not the reflection they need. You are the reality they can't handle. And that truth is what finally sets you free.